When the cage door closes and the lights go up, there are no scripts, there are no guarantees, but some nights there is something in the air. And on those nights, magic happens and legends are made. So much to talk about already in this historic month for Octagon MMA, so strap in, because this is Octagon Hype. So welcome back to Octagon Hype. My name is Bryan Lacey, with you as always, and with me as always, following me around the world now, mate, Josh Goodgen.
How's it going, mate?
Oh, I've missed you. It's been what, maybe 4 days?
A couple of days. What a couple of days though, eh?
Oh my God, listen, so much to talk to you about. This month has been a roller coaster in itself. Ostrava Octagon 37 was, and I'm going to say it, Josh, right at the top. I'm going to say it right at the top. It was the greatest night of fights I have ever called in my professional career. What's that for a statement, mate?
That is an accolade, that.
I've and I'm not bragging, called hundreds of fights, been to hundreds of events, but this was something special. And guess what we did? We brought you, Joshy Nutkins, along with us to vlog it for us. One of the best nights of fights I have ever called. I mean, that's my experience, and we'll break it down. We're going to go through the fights, through the talking points. But I was sat and I kept turning around to watch you watching the fights. How was it for you, mate?
I can't believe that I've got the opportunity to vlog these events. So to be there, cage side, the best seats in the house, and just give you guys my experience of it. And what an experience.
It's I don't know, it's so good having you there as well, mate, because I do my bit, which is the commentary and all the stuff around that, all the pre-interviews. But what I've set out with this show to do is try and engage with fans, with people, to show them what the experience, why it's different being at an Octagon event, and what your vlogs do. And I'm proud of you, Josh. I am proud of you. Even Mama Lacey, I was sat with her last night and she went, Josh is good. And he looks like a nice boy. He looks like a nice boy, well brought up. But it's that fan experience, right? It's different. It's different being there, seeing it, feeling it. And I thought, and you've got to check out this vlog. You've got to go. It's already got thousands of views on the Octagon UK and Ireland channel. But that experience, right? That's genuine. Nothing of that's put on. Like I said at the start, there's no scripts, there's no guarantees to what will happen in an event. But you sat down, and I sat down. Me and Jan Malak, who were commentating, we were up and down like yo-yos. Jan's chair just kept flying off into the crowd. But it's that experience, right? It's different from other events.
Yeah, I mean, like that's all I'm trying to do is, like, it's all genuine. Like, I'm a massive fight fan. Like, I love it, you know. So to be that close and to see a fight, a night of fights like it was, I was up and down just as much as you guys. And I'm trying to like call and commentate the fights in my own little way, just so that, because there might be fans out there that don't quite know what's going on, you know.
Sure.
So I'm like calling it as I see it as well. And that's my genuine emotion. And I'm really happy with how it's sort of come across and how well it's been received, you know. It really does give you that feel of what the atmosphere is like within the stadiums.
It's magic. It's absolutely magical. And to sum up that event, I mean, the vlogs are great. The guys who do the photos as well, they're phenomenal. They do some amazing shots, some really amazing shots of the action, of also the people watching it. They caught me and Jan Malak. This was during the heavyweight fight, which we'll talk about. This is the photo. This is that's my face, genuine reaction. And that was the start of the night. Like we say in the vlog, we talked through the prelims and it just built and grew into that main card.
I mean, I spoke to Pavel probably 5 fights in, maybe. Oh no, it they've been earlier. Maybe 2 fights in, and he said, "I think tonight there's going to be 3 or 4 knockouts." That's what Pavel said to me. He said 3 or 4 knockouts. So that I was constantly commentating on that throughout the vlog, and then we just exceeded it, and we just kept going and kept going, and then we realised this is a special night. And everybody realised there's a video as well, and we'll show some footage from the Cosmo fight, the main event, which was as crazy a fight as you are ever going to witness. Both guys just left everything in there. But there's a video that Marek Kindler, who does the photography, he's got this 3D cam and he follows. You kind of follow the footage in. We'll show it now as well. But it goes then from the cage, the walkout from Cosmo, all the way to Pavel and Ondrej watching the fight, and you see
Pavel in particular, the emotions. He sat next to Attila Vey, and you can see the emotions, the roller coaster they're going on, but you also see the awe, the absolute awe that these two guys have got. And it resonated throughout the crowd, right?
Yeah.
I think by the end of that event, we were close to the cage and we felt it, but that went all the way into the stalls, right? There was I keep saying it, there was something in the air that night, and I think everybody who was there in Ostrava realized they were part of Octagon history.
100%. You could feel it. It flowed through from the top to bottom. Everyone knew what we were in for, and then that final fight, everyone felt it. Like, it pulled on the heartstrings, didn't it? It was a fight.
Well, let's go through the card. Let's go through, and we'll. I'm basically, I want you all to go and watch the vlog. The vlog is amazing and it breaks down the fights brilliantly, but I want to go through some of the finishes. We had Robert Bryczek from Poland returning 2 years away. He had lost 2 fights in a row. One of those fights was to Kajk Brito in Octagon. He stepped away. He won his last 2 fights, 2 first-round finishes, both in under 1 minute 30 seconds. Stepped in and he said, I went away from Octagon to get my confidence back, stepped in and absolutely starched the silverback Dreyer. Clean 1-2, dropped him flat on the mat. And that was when our jaws hit the floor first, right, Josh? And you caught it brilliantly with your camera, because it goes from you filming it in in your seat to turning to your face. And that was your face for the entire night.
It was. Yeah? I mean, it was like the worst cameraman skills you've ever seen. Because I'm punched in tight and I just watch him get flatlined, drops on his face. I turn the camera to me and it's still zoomed in. So you've just basically you've got my face like, yeah, that was pretty much the start of everything.
Start of the mayhem. Then we had heavyweight havoc, the 2 heavyweights, Tadej Deichmann, who is a karate-based heavyweight, so he's got this really light on his feet movement against this Polish powerhouse, Adam Pałasz. And I reckon I've called at least 4 or 5 of Pałasz's professional fights. And I always say, you never know what you're going to get. He's 7-1 coming into this one, and he's a wild man. The fight was ridiculous. Yeah. Tadej Deichmann somehow survived amazing amounts of damage, some big knees, hurt Pałasz, and then came back and got the finish. And again, like when you see it with featherweights, welterweights, middleweights, it's impressive. Yeah. But when you see heavyweights sling like that, Josh, it's different, right?
You can feel the vibrations like through the arena. You can hear it, and you can hear the thuds, and you just know something's got to give. And like you said, they both got rocked. So it's a roller coaster of emotions. Like, who's going to go down first?
And well, Pałasz with that as potentially, and I think it's pretty much in the bag, has now set himself up for a heavyweight title fight with German monster Hatif Moel, which, again, when you look at the roster now for Octagon, when you can have those fights in front of you, that is amazing. Then we have Mikolasek, Baba Yaga, returning to Ostrava. He's like this unique fight. He's got a very patchy record. He's lost his last 5 or 6 MMA fights, 5 fights. Won his boxing fight in May against Kolotnik, but now he's coming back in his hometown. This will be his 3rd fight in 3 events, or 2nd fight in 2 events. Yeah, 2 fights and 2 events. He's now going to fight again on Octagon 38 in a boxing match against Gabor Borosh, which is awesome. But he was a lot of pressure coming in here. He had a last-minute change of opponent, almost got choked out by a scaffold in the very first round, and then finished the guy on his knees, Josh.
Yeah, and there were some savage uppercuts, like on his knees. And I watched the playback, and it doesn't look as bad on the playback as in real life. Like when we saw it in real life, and you hear them hit.
Shudung.
Obviously, home crowd went wild. His walkout were amazing. Yeah. He's a wild looking dude, a wild character. Like, it were awesome.
And again, this is with the way that Octagon help fighters resonate with the fans. Him under Cosma at the weigh-ins, even though he's got a record, I think he's got a negative record. It might be even now, maybe like 10-10. He had more people queuing to have photos with him than any other fighter, and that says a lot about him as well. So he will step in for a 3rd time in 3 events to box Gabor Borosh. Why not? Why not finish the year like that? Then we had Paradisa. Now we can show you this whole fight. We can show you the whole fight, because how long did it last, Josh?
I counted 11 seconds, but the official was 22 seconds, I believe.
It's 11, right? It's 11, right? Let's just have a look at Paradise's handiwork. And it was handy, wasn't it, Josh? He set those shots up brilliantly and then just put out a very tough Brazilian. That dude that he was fighting, 13 wins, 13 finishes. That's how dangerous he is. And you said it in the vlog. They weighed in at 70.8, or no, I think they had a catch weight, 71 or 72. They were 10 kilos. 10 kilos. Can you imagine?
Yeah, putting 10 kilos on in what, less than 24 hours for the fight?
I've been to some all-you-can-eat buffets and I've got close. But 10 kilos from 9 a.m. in the morning, they technically weighed about 9:30 to 5:30.
Yes.
5:30 in the afternoon.
The ceremonial weigh-ins,
10 kilos. So God knows what they weighed on the day. But Paradisa now has asked for that Chieta fight. He wants to go back and fight Chieta again for that lightweight title. So we shall wait and see. Then we had this fight. This was a surprise one. We thought this fight was totally off. Al Matavao, Sweetness Al Matavao, missed weight for his fight against Radovan Uškert quite considerably by a lot. And it was already a catch weight. So Uškert said, I won't fight him. But then Uškert's best mate, Marek Mazuk, said, I'll fight him. And he drove from Slovakia, made it in time for the ceremonial weigh-ins to stare down with his man. Said, I'm not bothered about the weight. I'll be under 93 or 96 it was. And I said to Ondrej Novotny, because of both their styles, they're both bangers, they both just like to strike. I said to Ondrej Novotny, this could steal the show. And it was horrific, the striking, right? And the finish Matavao got, that puts now Mazuk on a 2-fight skid in his MMA career. Before you came to Octagon, Josh, how was Mazuk doing?
I think he was undefeated.
Undefeated, mate, undefeated.
And then I went to Bruno. And
So I had the manager of Mazuk send me a message. This was less than an hour after we had posted the vlog. Listen, Batman, because you're the Robin to my Batman, as you referenced, not me, Batman. You know Mazuk is from my management, right? You bring that Robin guy one more time to Mazuk's fight and I'll beat the shit out of him.
I'm so sorry, Ondrej.
Listen, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 exclamation marks on the end of that message, Josh. So
you couldn't write it, could you?
Yeah. But Josh will be at Prague. He'll be at Octagon 38. So if you want to come and see him, he'll be there, yeah?
It's the fight that the fans want.
So then we had Chepo step in as well against Melillo. Now, this fight is interesting because Chepo has his eyes on another fight. He wants to fight Mate Peñas, who is returning to Octagon. Now, Chepo's been calling him out for a long time. Melillo fought Peñas and was the first guy to take him to a decision. Chepo said, I want to step in there. I want to finish him because you couldn't. And then I want to fight you. And what did he do?
He did it.
We make it sound easy. Yeah. He got hurt in that fight as well, right? He got hurt, but he ended up getting the finish. And potentially that sets up the Chepo versus Peñas fight, which I would love to see, particularly as we go to Slovakia in April. That would be one I'd love to see on that card. Then we got the 2 title fights. Now, Josh, when nights like this have built, and I always, even at the end of the evening, I kept thinking there was going to be a lull.
Yeah.
Everything kept going up. The fights, the knockouts, the comebacks. It just felt like there's got to be one fight where the brakes get pumped a little bit, right? Where, the atmosphere drops. And I thought, because we've got 2 5-round fights, so much on the line, that's going to be the point. Then we had the featherweight title fight. Mate Sanikidze against Jakub Tikota. 23 years old, Jakub Tikota, 24 years old, Mate Sanikidze. They put on one of the most technical, high-level, fast-paced 5-round fights I have ever witnessed. It was an honor to call that fight. And even though Mate Sanikidze won the belt, Josh, you got to give credit to Tikota as well, right?
100%. I mean, just the first round was chaos. They both got dropped. Then there was the mad even grappling exchanges, the striking.
The switches, the
buggy choke. There was a buggy choke
attempt in there as well, yes.
It was like you said, there wasn't one bad fight on the card. And it was nice to see that go 5 rounds and see the ability of both fighters. And for me, there's taking nothing away, but Mate Sanikidze just showed that extra level of ability across the board of mixed martial arts, and I think he was a worthy winner of the belt.
And there's a picture of him at the end being sick into a bucket. So you talk about leaving it all out there. Like Ondrej Novotny gave me the mic to interview him, and he was like, "Hurry up!" And I was like, "The guy's being sick in a bucket." Well, the cameraman got right in his face and took this picture. But and again, what level of talent and what level of respect. After the fight, Mate Sanakidze put this up, and I thought again it shows his just what a gentleman he is as well. He posted this: unforgettable fights are never just one fighter's credit, but both. So I'd like to thank Jakub Tikota again for this amazing fight. We both made each other better in that fight, and I'm sure we are the two best featherweights in Europe right now. Young breeds with many goals. We may be enemies before the fight, but never again after the fight. I appreciate every single second of the 5 rounds we shared. Wishing you nothing but the best in the future. The Czech Republic has an incredible fighter. His name is Jakub Tikota.
That's some championship class, isn't it?
That is world. Yeah, again, champions are more than just the belts and the fights, right? Now let's talk about the fight at the top of the card, because again, I just thought that something's going to happen here. I thought something must still give. Something's still got to give here at Octagon 37. Then this fight happened. A war, a back and forth war. We all knew what the battle was. David Kozma. Sixth title defense. His style, his durability, his wrestling, his grappling, his pressure, his average time to victory, 14 minutes and 7 seconds. Then you got Kike Brito. You got this knockout artist, 15 wins, 15 finishes. His average time to a finish, 1 minute and 7 seconds. So everybody thought the battle is the first round. If Brito can hurt him in the first round, he can win the belt. If Kozma can get through the first round, he can grind him into those later rounds. Like I said, there's no scripts. There's no guarantees. They went at it. Kike Brito was so good with his takedown defense, so good with his space, his awareness, his striking. Kozma, his durability, his grittiness. It looked like he was going to start taking this fight. And then Brito started to not just hit him, but gave him a huge amount of damage. Over those rounds, phenomenal. And each time you thought the fight was finished, Kozma came back.
Yeah, it was an absolute roller coaster. I think Kike Brito's striking is world class, and I mean world class. His head movement, the way that he could strike, move his head away from either a jab or whatever, and you're talking millimeters away, and he's back in, bang, straight in your face. And it was an absolute roller coaster. And then when you think Kozma's out, he's not out. Like the fact that the armbar. I mean, like we need to overlay some footage. Like the footage from you guys were screaming, "It's got an armbar!" Yeah. I'm screaming, "It's got an armbar!" I could not believe what I was witnessing. Like all that damage, all that hurt. They were both fatigued. They were both completely out they were both out on their feet in their own way. Like Kike Brito was tired. He put it in the post afterwards. He was exhausted.
Yeah,
for him to almost get that would have. I don't know what I would have done. I honestly don't know what I would have done. That the roof would have come off that place if that armbar had been locked in, because it was so close.
And there's a lot of conversations about whether the fight should have been stopped earlier. Now, I'll give you my point of view. First of all, they say you shouldn't ref fights differently for different fighters. This is a title fight. This is David Kozma. We've seen him be through so much damage before. And a lot of people ask me and said, well, surely it should have been stopped before. If you jump back to the final time they're on the mat, Brito on top and Kozma on the bottom, the way he gets up is not just a power get up. It's a very technical sort of escape from that bottom, gets the underhook, turns it around, then starts grappling Brito. Then they're on the feet and you can see Kozma's still hurt. That's when Brito starts to land those final few strikes that gets Jan Verbornik to step in. For me, that was the right time to stop it. I can see why some people would be upset, and I don't know what your thoughts are on it as far as that, but I think because he was technically responding, and it's not just responding, but technically responding to the referee with the to progress his position, to defend himself, I still think it was okay. But when he got back to the feet and a couple of strikes, I was not unhappy that he stepped in without Kozma having to be laid out flat cold.
Yeah, we both know. I mean, that was a world-class referee. We both know that it's the most thankless task in the arena is the referee's job. So it's his job to protect the fighters. And I believe that he did that. I think it was a fair stoppage when it was. As I was watching it, as I was seeing it, like I couldn't see the technical get-ups as well as you could. So when I'm vlogging, I'm going, needs to stop this now. Just because we know like the impact of head trauma, concussion,
the long term,
and the reason that Cosma stayed in for as long as he did was, I believe, his fitness. So his gas tank, 100%. His gas tank, because his chin was rock solid, and his gas tank kept him there. So I think it was a fair stoppage. I think it still could have been stopped a little bit earlier, but that was just me observing from cage side. Yeah. And also like you can feel the emotion of the crowd. Like nobody wants to see that. We don't want to see the champion lose. No one wanted to see that. You know, like as well as Kite Brito did. I wanted to see the Cosmo show. I wanted to see 7. Like let's keep going. 8, 9, 10. Yeah. So nobody wanted to see him lose. And I think that in all, it was a fair stoppage, and he got every opportunity for a championship fight, and the rightful winner got the belt.
A new champion. And let's not take anything away from Kite Brito. He came in there so prepared. On the scale, he had a nightmare journey. He was underweight, made the weight as far as the championship, no problems whatsoever, put on a great performance. And what makes it magical, if you watch back some of the footage from the on-site documentaries, the build up to Octagon 37, his home life, his mum, brought up by this single mum who has, been almost like this sort of voice behind him, helping grow him and advising him, getting him through the bad times and the good. There's a great video of them watching it in Brazil and them going crazy, absolutely crazy. So all credit, all hail the new champion, Kite Brito. That has also earned him his spot in the Game Changer, TipSport GAMECHANGER Tournament, which we're going to talk about a little bit later, that was announced the same week at the press conference at Octagon 37. Other announcements that happened this week were the ones that we didn't want to hear. Karlos Vemola Thursday night posted a picture of him in a hospital bed getting treatment. It was his son's first birthday, and he was celebrating it in hospital. But this was just before the press conference, just before we did the Ostrava press conference for Octagon 37. So everybody didn't know what was going to happen with that fight. Since then, Vemola came out of the fight because he was unable to continue. The treatment wouldn't have got him back in time. And then following that, Patrick Kinsell has now had to come out of the fight as well with a hand injury. He will be taking part in the Game Changer welterweight tournament, which we'll talk about before. So we had a roller coaster, but one guy who's had a much tougher week than us, Josh, is one half of the dynamic duo, Mr. Ondrej Novotny, and he joins us on Octagon Hype right now. So we welcome the second part of the dynamic duo, Ondrej Novotny. Welcome to Octagon Hype.
Thank you, Bryan. Finally, I was thinking that you will never invite me.
I've been waiting. I've been holding for a special moment. And let's be honest, Ostrava was extremely special. And I think there was a moment between us where we looked into each other's eyes, where we realized that we'd changed lives. And that was at breakfast when you introduced me to that. Is it Krupsikova? Koshka? What's the...
Almost. Krupicová kaše.
Oh my God. I have not stopped. I know the event was great. I know we had one of the best events in all time, but every morning I've woken up and my wife, we've sat having breakfast and I'm eating my cereal going, it's not Krupsikova, it's not crazy.
I will bring the recipe and the stuff for you.
Oh my goodness.
In December.
Listen, forget the breakfast. Let's talk about last week, because I've said it now on this Octagon Hype. It was the best event I have ever commentated on. The craziest night of fights and just the atmosphere, the energy into the title fights. I've never seen anything like it. How was it for you?
Yeah. I was sick as hell. As always, I'm in my born city, Ostrava. But yeah, I was counting it. That I did already more than 500 tournaments as a host or MC. More than 500. And many others I was as a commentator in a studio somewhere like thousands and thousands. But with my present, it was probably the best tournament I ever been. It was unbelievable. Some, like you, Jan Malach told me that you said that something is in the air in the night. And yeah, there was something.
It was magical from start to finish, right? Just the craziness of all the fights coming through. I'll pick out a couple of ones to talk to you about just to get your thoughts and to see maybe what's next. The heavyweight fight, Pałasz versus Tadej Deichmann. like Deichmann survived for so long. Then he hurt Pauas, and then there was that crazy finish. That's got to have earned him the title shot, right, against Hatef Moel.
Yeah, we signed Adam Palash just 2 days ago, I would say, because now everything is so quick, and now we are dealing with Hatef Moel. So, but yeah, it's gonna be the title fight. Normally, I'm not saying nothing about the fights, but in this occasion, like we was talking about it, and after this fight from Adam Palash, he was already 7-1 or 6-1 before the fight.
7-1,
yeah. So yeah, I think it's obvious that these two guys have to try to be our champion.
This is what I love as well. For people that haven't been around you, and especially around you when you've got your phone or your computer on, they have no idea what your life is really like. Because I sit there and people just think, oh, you stand on stage, you do the announcing, but your life is ridiculous, right? Like, how many messages do you get a day, roughly?
Yeah, I'm
there's another one. Boom. There's another one. My wife doesn't talk to me this much.
Yeah, I think a little bit more than 1,000.
That's ridiculous. A day.
A day. Yeah, something like this.
God.
I don't know, but definitely like 500. I was counting it one day, and it was more than it was. But that day was crazy, and sometimes I'm in many groups, like you and everybody right now.
Yeah.
And just the group of friend of mine, when they got a day, they can easily give like 200 something. Yeah. So I don't count these ones, but 500 is for sure.
What I'm jealous of as well is you've got friends. I've cut them all out. All I do is Octagon. This is you have time for friends? This is weird.
Yeah, I have a group of friends from basic school, actually.
Oh mate, let's talk about one relationship you got. And there's a beautiful picture at the end of this last event where you are with Cosma and you kind of got your head on his head. You've got a really, like, especially with these guys that have been with you from the start, the relationship you've got, the bond you've got, the respect you've got is special. I see it. I see how you talk to each other. But with Cosma, despite him losing that fight, he is still a champion, right? That performance, everything he's done within the promotion, every fight he's taken to defend his belt has been a huge challenge. So what's your thoughts on him and what's it been like having him as your champion?
Yeah, like with Cosma, I got some people which are really special to me because I was with them from very beginning of their career. And especially with Cosma, I was the guy who was calling him and said to him that if you want to do MMA professionally, you have to move from Karviná, which is the city next to Ostrava, to Prague. So I bring him to the Prague gym, and I was sometimes with him when he was cutting the weight for previous organization of title fights. So yeah, I spent a lot of time with him, and to see him like this, in a fight like this, and after the fight like this, and see him to be still somehow calm and in a peace with everything, it's unbelievable. And I want to say that Brito was like perfect storm. No, he did everything right.
Yeah,
it was his night, definitely. But yeah, for Czechs and especially for us from the Ostrava, Cosma he always be the champion. So I feel that I have to show him my love for him through those 12,000 people that want to hug him. So I was there, the only one who can.
There's no bigger arms in that arena than yours to go around as well.
Yes, sometimes I got that feelings that somehow I'm connected with those fighters, like with Petrasek in Frankfurt and many other occasions. So yeah, I'm doing this. Some people are saying that it's not proper and I giving some fighters more, but those fighters, they know that I'm not doing this. But I'm also okay that, yeah, I got some fighters which are really connected with, and I will always will.
Yeah, and it's actually I respect it a lot because if you just cared for those fighters, like people would say, you wouldn't put him in there with Brito. He wouldn't be fighting people like this. You give them real challenges, real tests. And it was a phenomenal title fight. Both title fights were amazing. What were your thoughts on the stoppage, as far as, because I saw a few people say that it should have been stopped earlier, but for me, like even the bit where the armbar comes up after he's taken so much damage, he's still fighting, right? So I just wanted to get your thoughts on it.
Yeah, I think like in Czech, we got like MMA is right now national sport or something like this, almost.
Yeah.
Yeah, so people got their own opinion, and a lot of people's got like they are always against everything. Yeah, and my opinion is that it was somehow like the fight from the past. We are not seeing these fights anymore, most likely.
Yeah.
Before 3 or 4 years, it was like this almost every time. Yeah. And that's the historic fights. What we really like Diego Sanchez against
Melendez or somebody.
Yeah, and many others fight. So yeah, I was thinking that in normal fights, I would say like it was too late, but in title fights, it was absolutely okay. And the right decision because Kozma was still there. And the funny thing is that I met him in the night. I sent him to the CT, to the doctor, and I met him on the breakfast next day. And we were laughing about that. I said like everything is okay, and I was knowing that it's okay. And he says, yeah. So it's only the scratch on my face. It's nothing special. And I said, oh, you see, I got much worse because my throw is in the so I think more than you. So we were laughing about it. And I asked him, like, what do you think about that referee thing? Because people start to hate Jan Voborník and what he did. And he says, yeah, I saw that fight already. And if people are saying this, I think, yes, he can leave it. I could fight more. Yeah, so his thinking about his fight is that he was still there and he can go even further. So he told me like, yeah, it was a mistake. I should that fight should continue.
You should carry on. He was the other way. Oh my God.
He was like, yeah, it was a mistake.
What a guy.
Yeah.
Phenomenal. And let's talk about the co-main event, because to have two young fighters like that, 23 and 20.
I just want to add that I got the same amount of love for Brito, because his story with his mother.
The whole footage of his home, right?
Yeah, his home, how the people around him celebrate Kaike, and all these things. We sent the cameraman on the airport, so we will have those footage once he came home. So yeah, Brito's amazing champion, amazing person. He's shy guy, really. It's the same. I would say that it's Brazilian Kozma. Yeah, those two guys are really the same in the end.
I love it. Yeah,
and I'm really happy that he did it, and he's our champion. And I'm also happy that he will probably be in the Game Changer, and it's gonna be crazy.
Let's talk briefly about the next event. So you just touched on it. Vemola came out. He went to hospital. This was just before we did the press conference in Ostrava. How is he, first of all? What do you know what the diagnosis is, and how is Vemola?
Yeah, I know about his diagnosis, but
you have to say. I just want to. Yeah,
I will not say. I was there yesterday or 2 days ago. Sunday. I was in hospital, and he's better than he was. But I have to say, if I would know what I knew now, that I would cancel this fight in Thursday or Wednesday, because he really go through the death. Yeah, he was that.
Wow.
He was in a shape which is not the doctor said it in Czech words, which is not he should be dead. He's like this. Yeah, he's got some merge, some numbers which are far away from normal life. Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, he's a Terminator, definitely. Now it's official.
Now it's official.
that he can go again and again and again. So he's getting better, but we will see. Yeah, we will see through the January when and how he can back. So it's not easy for him, and also not easy for Patrick, because he already said that he's got injured with his hand. Also really bad injured, so he wants to be back for Octagon TipSport Game Changer. So he canceled also that fight, which is not easy for us, but yeah, you have to understand that health is first, and we're trying to put some show fights, because this fight is only one. You can just bring the fight.
With that, you've just touched on Game Changer. We've talked to Pavel about how everything was born and built. We've just talked to you now about what's going on in the present, the future. And this TipSport Game Changer literally is that. When it was explained to me just in brief, I kind of, okay, tournament. But when you broke it down for how it will work and how the money will be broken down through the rankings or the rounds, it's got to. This is the biggest thing ever to happen to Octagon, right? And for it to be in the welterweight division, it's perfect.
Yeah. It's. I think I can reveal this one graphic. We just agreed that we will use it. There was a lot of noise about this graphic, but finally it's gonna be this one, so I can reveal it.
Wow. Exclusive on Octagon Hype. Yes. Look at those guys that are in it, though, my friend.
It's unbelievable.
It's phenomenal. It's phenomenal. This really is the game changer. Look at the guys you've already been able to announce in it. And one of my favorite looks from you ever is when we're sat at dinner or somewhere and I mention something and you just go like this, like you know something. So already I know that you will have the other parts in place, and I'm excited to see.
Yeah, I am excited to say that I got already a few others, and it's gonna be big also for other states. So this is something huge. I believe that no other organization split €1 million in Europe between the fighters in 1 year in this kind of pyramid. And also we got that special rules about it, that first fights is organization fights. So we put our 8 fighters against 8 newcomers, or also the fighters which were already fighting in Octagon. We will see, and we will do the first schedule. First 8 fights. They will fight in white night, and after that night they will go to the room. They will pick the numbers by luck from 1 to 8, and then with that numbers from 1 to 8 they will go to the wall, and there will be the draw.
So they get to pick.
So number 1 will go in front of the empty wall and put himself into the place. Number 2, number 3, number 4, and then number 5. Maybe there will be 4 fighters waiting for the opponents, so they will decide about their opponents, about their luck.
Gosh.
And it's gonna be fun. So then we will split the tournaments, and we will do 2 quarterfinals somewhere and 2 quarterfinals in the other country, and then we again go together with 2 semifinals and 1 final. So it's gonna be through the whole year, and the winners got €300,000, which is also, I believe, the biggest check ever in Europe. Maybe not, I don't know, but
it's up there without a doubt. Surely, that's it. So 2023 looks amazing. Okay, last 2 questions. Where did Yedemay Bumbe come from? When did you come up with this?
It's from my friend Kuba, and every time when we were partying, in some point when everybody was drunk enough, he jumps on the bar and starting to shouting like this. And then I was looking for something for tournaments, and I said to him, like, can I take this from you and use it for tournaments? He says yes. So I'm using it more than 10 years now.
Wow.
And it's and people love it. In the end. But about my English, I know that is not perfect. Definitely, I said to myself that I have to work on it, or otherwise to go. And I'm not doing either one until now. But yeah, I have to do it. I have to be better. I know it, and I know that there's a lot of critics about it, and they are right. I'm just doing it because, yeah, in Octagon we said like it's better to have you with this crazy English than anybody else for now. But I'm prepared to leave it.
And look, I'm going to let you go because I know you're busy. You've probably had 700 messages now. I've got to go and try and find this breakfast from Ostrava somewhere. But yeah, thank you again, Ondrej, and we'll see you on December 30th in Prague.
Yeah, and it's gonna be still a very nice tournament. There's gonna be Lee Chadwick.
Lee Chadwick we can announce this. We can say this. This goes out.
Yeah, I think this goes out today. So yeah, I'm in a good mood. I will tell you everything.
Okay, you're not going anywhere. Lee Chadwick, can we announce his opponent?
Yeah, Rafael Xavier.
Boom.
In a catch weight, I believe it's 92 kilo. 91 and a half.
91 and a half. I think that's what the other Ondrej dropped to me. Great to see Lee Chadwick in there. Bellator fighter, Cage Warriors coming in there. Extremely good grappler. This is a big test.
It's not easy fight for Rafael in the end.
I think it's a difficult one for him, but this will see whether he can move on in towards that title, or we will have another Englishman in there looking to help take over. We'll see. We will see. Thanks for that. All right, Ondrej, have a great day, and I will speak to you. I'll see you soon, okay?
Yeah, thank you very much, and thanks to all who's watching the hype, because it's a good show.
So that's Ondrej Novotny. Now, Josh, could you imagine living that life? 1,000 WhatsApp messages a day.
You could hear it pinging away, couldn't you?
Ping, ping, ping. And everyone, that's not all good news. The ping might sound nice, but as you've seen from last week, some of it's bad news as well. But look, he touched on this thing that I need to talk to you about, and I call it, and it is a game changer. The TipSport Game Changer was announced at the Ostrava press conference. Listen, before I talk to you about it, let's roll the promo.
In 2023, 16 elite fighters from all over Europe will enter a single pyramid and over 5 tournaments. They will fight for a share of 1 million euros in prize money. Already included are the #1 Hungarian fighter,
Kurtets looking for the takedown, got the body lock.
Mate Kurtets, German warrior,
Summoning the Celt within him to furiously pound down.
Christian the Celt Junkworth. The only fighter outside of Europe will be Octagon fan favorite, the Brazilian Predator, Apollo Silva. Serbian Prometheus, Bojan Velikovic. The middleweight champion,
Oh, look at this.
Patrick Kinkel. German superstar, Christian Eckerlin. The undisputed welterweight king, David Kozma. Plus, many more fighters from around Europe. They will all fight for their share of 1 million euros. And the winner of the grand finale will take home a check for 300,000 euros. Ladies and gentlemen, Octagon MMA brings you TipSport Game Changer. For more information, start following us on social media and octagon.tv.
So it's official. Next year, the welterweight tournament will happen. The TipSport Game Changer. 16 welterweights will vie out for their share of 1 million euros. That's right. It's going to work in a pyramid. We're going to have 9 fighters from Octagon. Now, Kike Brito has claimed that welterweight title. And we're going to bring in 7 other welterweights from Europe, around the world, to try and claim their share of 1 million euros. That is quite literally a game changer, right?
Yeah, that's like unheard of money in the fight game, isn't it? You know, like
life changing.
Life changing.
Yeah.
And to win 300,000 at the final.
Yeah.
What a sum of money.
Let's break it down for you exactly how it's going to work. So over next year, during 2023, there'll be a number of tournaments, 5 tournaments that will hold these rounds for this TipSport Game Changer. We're going to have 9 Octagon stars. So these are the familiar faces that Octagon knows and loves already. Look at the names in that, Josh, already. Christian Eckerlin, Christian Jungwirth, Kijk Brito's earned his spot, Bojan Veličković, Apollo Silva, Mate Kurtesh, and of course, David Kozma, plus Patrick Kinsella. Patrick Kinsella, the middleweight, has been tempted down back to welterweight next year for this. That alone is a world-class lineup, right?
That's so exciting. And like you said, there's such world-class fighters, and you can imagine the motivation behind trying to come at the top of that tournament. So you've got champions in there, and then now you're going to be go for a tournament winning as well.
Yeah, and on top of that, they're going to bring in some stars, and I already know some of the names that have been contacting Octagon wanting to be part of this. So when they start updating and announcing some of these as well, it's going to take it to another level to show you just how important this tournament is. So what else do you need to know? Let's break it down as far as how it will work with each round. So initially there'll be a tournament where all 16 fighters will fight it out. One tournament will be the home to the opening round of this. That is going to be in Ostrava, March the 4th. You don't even have to wait that long, Josh. March the 4th.
What a card.
What a card. What a card. And they will vie out to move forward. If you lose in that opening round, you still earn 15,000 euros, right? If you lose in the quarterfinals, you earn 40,000 euros. In the semi-finals, 80,000 euros. And then if you lose in the finals, 130,000 euros is still yours. If you win in the finals, if you are the tip of the spear in the TipSport Game Changer Tournament, you will walk away with 300,000 euros. To make it absolutely clear as well, the belt will not be on the line. Kijk Brito will be in this, but this is not a tournament for the welterweight championships. They're 3-round fights, but it makes it really interesting. What also makes it interesting is they have added a lucky loser where the fans can vote on somebody who won in the previous rounds. So say you lost in the opening round, but your fans vote you back in and say somebody can't compete in the next round, you can get voted back. So even if you lose in that first round or even in the quarterfinals or the semis, you could still find yourself fighting for that 300,000 euros. And that comes down to you, the fans. So you have to follow us. You have to keep your eye on this tournament, not just for the names that are coming in, but also for the progress of the fighters. The TipSport Game Changer kicks off next year, 2023, March 4th. And if you're thinking of getting any presents before the end of the year, you could also go to the Octagon store. Look at this, check out this new merch, right? You can go there. It is the handiwork of the dream team in the merch industry for Octagon, which is Sylvia and Tibor. What a dynamic duo those two are. You can also get yourself some fight kits as modelled by Joshy.
Full kit, mate. Full kit. Look at that, eh? I bet you're thinking, God, he looks like a real fighter, doesn't it?
Honestly, we need to make an announcement. We need to make an announcement for the new main event. The new main event of Octagon 38. Just tell us how it feels on you, Josh.
This is genuinely really nice. Like I'm gonna go down to do my jiu-jitsu in this.
It looks good on you, mate. It looks really, really good. So look, once again, thank you for joining us on Octagon Hype. We will be back in the new year. So this will warm you up for Octagon 38. Stay tuned. We'll be back 2023 with more Octagon Hype, more madness, more silliness. To keep up with it, follow us on social media, subscribe to the channel. But whatever you do this festive season, be good, be safe, have fun, and we will see you for the next Octagon Hype.